Hi, it's Tuesday night, and we're here with Kathy, quilting along with Kathy. Linda, I'm glad you're ready. It's good to see you as always. And you seem oh, hang on. There we go. You get the distinction of being here before everybody else, and I'm really excited about that. That makes me feel really good. And Judy, who just lives up the road a little way, is here tonight too. What we've got going on tonight is, I was getting feedback from my headset here. Hi, Donna, nice to see you. Raining in North Carolina tonight. Debbie, how are you doing? I'll bet it's warm and sunny where you're at. Last I heard it was over 100 degrees. Oh, that's okay, Debbie, not a problem. Not a problem. Barbara, hi, welcome. Welcome, Joliet, Illinois. Um, what was famous about Joliet, Illinois? I think it was the Blues Brothers. Is that right, Ken? Yeah. Hi, Marcia, nice to see you. Tonight, I'm gonna let you guys know I have Ken here to moderate for me. Sarah, who normally is here, my daughter, is at the school tonight because our grandson is being inducted into the National Honor Society. Really proud of him. Dee, good to see you. Hi, Michelle, all the way from Canada. Linda, hi. Linda Vance and Linda D. We've got 2 Lindas on board. What we're gonna do tonight is we are going to look at and I'm gonna switch my cameras over. Hi, Sarah. She's still watching. We are going to take a look at Circles on Quilt's Wreath 20 template. Now, I have to tell you guys, when I pulled this out, I looked at it. I went, "Oh, this is an awesome template." It's an 11.5-inch design, and it goes around looks like a Dresden plate, right? And I'm thinking it's got this great big open space in here. There's so much we could do with that open space. We could put hundreds of things in it. And we just had a meeting today, and like Stacy said, we have a bazillion templates, and we could use almost any one of them in there. I'm not really gonna go over that tonight. What I wanna do is show you that I came up with some really different ideas. This circular Dresden-looking plate is not the only thing that this wreath can do. I figured out some other things. So let's hope that I don't fall flat on my face and we're able to talk about it. And here is the template. I am going to just turn this light off. There we go. We'll get rid of that glare that's on there. And I want to show you, we are going to run this off of a tack. Okay, because it's a circles on quilts, and that's what we do with circles on quilts. Jan, hi. Oh, good deal, good deal. I'm glad. Dee, it's good to see you, Lakeland, Florida. Thank you, Barbara. I really appreciate that. Um, what we have is our tack down here. Then, of course, like we have on almost all of our templates, we've got a little picture of what it's going to look like. Now, this template, oh, yay, needle channel. You guys all probably know now how I feel. I really love the needle channels. I've put a arrow right here for one of the designs that we're going to make tonight. Normally on my circles quilts, I don't put any staple tape on, but I am doing it on this one because I'm going to be using this template in a couple different ways tonight. Okay. I harp, and I know I harp at you guys all the time. Draw it out, draw it out, draw it out. Well, you know what? I think if I hadn't drawn this one out, I probably would have been in trouble. okay? Because I learned a lot drawing this out. One, Jan, you were in the hospital. I'm sorry. I'm glad you're out, though. I see that. Thank you, Ken. And, what I found out when I was doing this is that this template works better if you go from the left to the right. So if you would start at number 1 and go to reference line number 2, reference line number 3, and we have 32 reference lines to make this template work. That's an awful lot. We're not gonna be stitching all 32 tonight, but what you can see is some of the things I like to have a little bit of fun once in a while, and I'm gonna turn this light back on for you so you can see my penguin. I actually was drawing out the template, and I just decided to make a little penguin out of it. We're gonna use it as a spin effects, even though it's not a spin effects, we're gonna show you how you can do it that way. And then we also are gonna do it as a single or a double border treatment. So let's go ahead and let's get started. We got a lot to cover and only an hour to get it done. So I'm going to go ahead and I am going to pull up, want to show you guys the block we're going to use tonight. This is it. Remember the one that's been saved from the landfill? Okay, and let's go ahead and put in our practice block. And you know what? I just knocked the tag out of it. So again, I like to go over this. So we're going to stick that tag in from the right side, right into the center of our block. And the reason that we do that is so that when we come back from the back to stick it towards the front, we no longer have to guess where we're going. It's gonna go right where we want it to, and there it is, right smack dab in the center, which is exactly where we want it. Now what you're gonna see here is where I was drawing and where I was stitching. So, I'm gonna go ahead and I'm going to put the template onto our tag here. I'm going to line my vertical center up with my reference lines. I'm not starting at 1, 2, or 3. I'm really not starting anywhere in particular. I am just showing you how we're going to do this, and I wanna do it in this direction so you can see better. What we're gonna do is we're gonna come up, we're going to stop when we get here, come back down, come over he we're gonna start here, I'm sorry. We're gonna start here, come across, come up, and then come back down, okay? And I like to put my foot down away from that template because I really don't want that foot crashing into the template. So many things can happen if we do that. One, we can break our template. We can knock our machine out of time. If we accidentally put the needle down, it will get broke, just so you know. We just wanna put it down like here, and then now I'll go back to where I need to be, and I'm gonna go ahead and put that in, okay? Nor Northern Nevada, North Texas. Thank you, Debbie, appreciate that very much. Brenda Johnstone is another Michigander. Ah, I love when we get other Michiganders in here. Okay, so I'm starting at the letter B, and I'm going to stitch over to B1. Now I'm going to come all the way up. There's A1, and we're gonna come over to A, and you'll notice that it fits right in. It just nestles right in with the previous rotation. And here we go, back down. I like the double stitching. I really think that it enhances the design. So now we're just going to go ahead and we're going to move that template so that we can stitch over to B1 again. Take that extra stitch when we get to that corner because we do want that corner to be somewhat sharp. And don't forget, right at the top, right where I'm stitching now is a curve. And I know you've heard me say it before, but when we're going around a curve, we want to make sure that our stitches are just a little bit shorter. The other things that we want to watch out for is we don't want our fabric to be flagging. And flagging means that the fabric actually comes up when the needle comes up, okay? It's, it can feel weird. It just feels weird, and I think sometimes it's easy to get little bubbles in there if it happens. Okay, got a dry throat today. Starting at B, going over to B1, one stitch in place, I'm going to hesitate. Take your time. This is not a race. The guy who finishes first doesn't get any prizes for it. I apologize for that. And we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna travel on to that first line of stitching, and we're gonna come back to B1, and we're going to stop with our needle down. Now remember, before you move your template, before you, um, do before you stop stitching or before you move your template, I'm sorry, you want to stop stitching, and you want to always stop with the needle in the down position. Normally, what you guys see me work with is a vintage machine, a Singer 301 that I stole from Ken, and he knows it, so I can say it. I can be honest about it. Um, Tonight, though, I have my big girl machine out. It is a Juki 40,000 VP, and the reason that I have it out is because I'm working on a rather large quilt, and I am free motioning the entire quilt myself, and with the 301, it's just not heavy enough. The quilt can sometimes scooch it along the table, and we need to be nice and stable. And I know I probably should have done ruler work on it in retrospect. I think if I do another this was actually one of 2 identical quilts that I made for my sister's guest room, and in retrospect, I would definitely pull the rulers out next time, but I don't think she's gonna get 2 different quilts. I think one set of quilts is enough. So this is what we've got going on. I'm gonna go ahead and pull my needle up, put pull my foot up, and find my scissors. This is just a practice piece. I'm just going to trim these threads off, and there it is. There is isn't that gorgeous? I I really oh, the template tonight, Catherine, is Circles on Quilts Wreath 20. and this is the package. I didn't pull the instructions out because we have just a generic instruction in there, okay? So, it's not really specific to this particular template. But you know what this reminds me of? And maybe it's because I'm doing this on a piece of yellow fabric, it reminds me of a sunflower. So what we could do is take our little droplets templates and come in here and make all kinds of little circles with brown thread, and I think it would make a gorgeous sunflower. What do you think, Ken? You like that idea? Yeah, he does. He's not all that excited about it, though. Okay, so this is number 1, and this is where I've said we've got a whole lot of space to take up in here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the tack out now because I wanna show you a couple of things that this was not intended to do, but I decided I wanted to do it, so it works. This template is not meant to be used as a spin effects. However, with that being said, I'm going to use it like a spin effects. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come into the center. I'm going to go ahead and put my foot down. Oh, actually, what I'm going to do is I prepared another piece of fabric for this. Now, I can't really see it. I did some preliminary drawing on it. After I drew it on my paper, of course, you guys know that I like to draw things out because if I'm doing that, I don't have to be vacuuming. Okay, forgot to cut my bobbin thread off. There we go. And there goes that long, long bobbin thread that I always get. Now I am going to adjust this foot just a little bit because this particular practice sandwich seems a little thicker than the first one. So I am putting my template on right at the B1. That's where the center is going to be, right on that B1 corner that the needle channel comes out of. Okay? Wanna make sure you guys can see this well. Okay. So there's the B1 right here. Now, I am lining up the bottom of the vertical center. If you notice, it's not going to line up at the top, it's only going to line up at the point that's closest to the foot. We're going to stitch until we hit this green arrow, then we're going to go back to the center, okay? So let me show you what I mean, and we're gonna take that first stitch in place. The one thing that is really nice about this machine is it is much, much quieter than the Singer 301. Okay, so there I have hit my needle on that green arrow, and I'm going to come back into the center. Looks kind of like a fish hook almost. Okay, so now I am going to twist the template. I am keeping my B1 in the center, right there. You can see, and I've just twisted so that this bottom of the vertical center line touches my reference line. I am using 16 rotations or 16 reference lines for this. Now I am going to use my spacing gauge here to see if I need to move it back or forward just a little bit, and it looks like we're right where I need to be. So here we go, stitch in place, and off we go. And I went a little further than I needed to on that one, but that's okay. If I want to, I can go in and pick those couple stitches out. They will be stitched over right here, so they'll be pretty locked in. It'll be pretty good. Again, I'm going to twist. My foot is at that B1 corner. The bottom part of my, vertical center is touching the next reference line. And you'll notice I'm going backwards. At least I think it's backwards because normally I stitch from the left to the right, and I think it's because I'm right-handed. Um, I'd kinda like to just kind of someday take a poll to see if people stitch in different directions, if they're right-handed or left-handed. Now, I knew that one was gonna be a little long. This one's going to be just perfect. Let's try it. I'm not sure. So, if we did the opposite direction, I would be going this way. Somebody asked if it would be easier to go in this direction because it would be easier to stop on this pedal. That's a really good question. Linda, I should have and, you know what? It's a really great question. Let's try it out, okay? I like this idea simply for that reason. I see where rotation my first rotation is, and it is easier to stop there. Great catch, Linda, I appreciate that input. And yeah, it is easier, definitely. So now I'm going to go ahead and twist. I'm keeping that B1 in that, my foot right in that B1 corner, and we're gonna go one more time. I love the look of double stitching. I really do. I probably have done it many times when it wasn't necessary, just because I really wanted everything to be bold and stand out. There we go. I'm gonna go ahead and just twist that one more time. You know, I've never made any bones about it. I learn just as much from you all as you learn from me, and I love the collaboration. It's so important. Okay, and that's why I really like it when you guys go to the instructor page and tell me what you like, what you don't like, those kinds of things. Linda got a medal. Good job, Ken. And just to let you know, if you do go to that instructor page and leave a critique for me, you will get a $5 coupon off, and you can be used for purchase on sewsteady.com. And check this out. This is not supposed to be done that way, but isn't that cool? I love it. Good morning, Margaret. You're here all the way from Melbourne, Australia. Welcome. And it is early morning for you, very early. Oh, yep. Ken says he doesn't see you. So you are on a Facebook page. So I'm seeing you, but he's not. Yep. And Lisa, also from Sugarland, Texas, is on Facebook. We we actually need to get like 4 computers so we can see everyone. Anyway, what are your thoughts on this one? Thank you, Debbie. I like it. I really think it's unique, it's different, and, it reminds me of a deck of cards almost. So that is another way that we can use this template. And remember what I said about these little stitches here? To correct that, and I simply do not mind correcting, my mistakes for you guys because I'm not perfect, and I hope that my husband does not comment on that. But definitely not perfect, and it's okay to make mistakes because every mistake is fixable except a broken heart, right? And everything can be fixed but a broken heart. At least that's what my husband tells me. Okay, so what you'll see is I've went ahead, I've got the top thread off, but I did not break the bobbin thread here. I'm gonna get that real nice and close. I want you to see it has a little loop in it. So what I'm going to do, I am going to secure that. Just gonna hold it back out of the way for a minute here. Well, I'm gonna try to. I'm putting my self-threading needle in where that thread comes up. I'm going to get it nice and short, put that over the self-threading needle, and this is a little tricky. There's no doubt about that. There we go. It's in the needle, and there we were able to bring it in to the block, and you can't tell there is a mistake there. Western New York, Mary Lou, welcome. The size of the example, this one in particular, let's go ahead and measure that, Francie. Um, I did not measure that earlier, so that's a great question. My husband is from Western New York, Mary Lou. Okay, so what we have when we measure a template, I'm looking at this template, it says 11.5 inches, right? Well, I know it's not 11.5 inches from here to here. When we talk about 11.5 inches, it's going to be from tip to tip, and I only have one tip in here. So, 1/2 of the template on 11 inches is going to be 5.5 inches. So from the center to here is 5.5 inches. So let's see what this particular one is going to turn out to be. I'm going to lay my ruler right at the very tip of the stitching. Whoops, I didn't have it in there real well. Okay. And now we're going to measure down 1 and 3/4, 1 3/4 inches. Okay. So this is going to be, when it's completed, a 3.5 inch circle because 1 3/4 plus 1 3/4 equals 3.5. So if we keep going around on this from this point to this point will be 3.5 inches. from the center to the outer point in one direction is 1 3/4 inches. And somebody said to me, I was a science and math person. I don't think I would be a very good quilter." This week somebody told me that, and I said, "I think you'd may be surprised at how much math we use in quilting. We do use a lot." So, this one, you could do some other things with, and, I'd love to guys how we can do other little embellishments with our templates. So, I'm gonna go ahead and put this back on simply because we've got the time. Okay. And I'm gonna go ahead and put my needle down and back up, lift my foot, and whoops, get it in there, and down we go. Okay, so I'm sorry, I bumped you again. Remember we took and we put the bottom vertical center on our reference line. Now I'm gonna come back and I'm going to put the top vertical center on the reference line. I'm not gonna stitch all the way. I'm only going to stitch to the center and back. Back to the center of the block. Now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to turn my template again. And again, rather than using this vertical center line, I'm going to use this vertical center line. And this is going to give us the nicest little echo. Ooh, it went in the opposite direction. What did I do there? I think I twisted a little bit too much. There we go. So we're going to come here. Let's do that. Again, the top instead of the bottom. And if you want to be sure you've got it right, try your spacing gauge and you'll see that you're coming in just a little bit on that spacing gauge. And that's where you want to be. Here we go. And this is the reason that I have the stable tape on. You know, almost every template we have can be used with an echo like this. It's a nice look. It just is an enhancement. It doesn't have to be part of the, design, but look at how cute that is. It just kind of gives it a little boost, so to speak. Okay, we're gonna go ahead and put that down, and I'm gonna show you. Isn't that nice? I really, really like that. Thank you, Rebecca. Oh, that's Becca. Hi, Becca, it's good to see you. Oh my goodness. I'm getting to know you guys. I think that is so awesome. I love it. Okay, the next thing I wanna do is make my penguins. Nancy's from Victoria, Australia. Welcome. Welcome. It's morning where you are at. So here's the little penguins that I did. And what this is gonna do is we're gonna come in a little ways. So we're gonna just kind of be making 2 separate lines of stitching. which I wouldn't normally do. So what I'm going to do, I have to refer to my drawing, guys, I really do, because okay, because I'm not really I think I know what I did, but y'all are knowing me well enough now that, sometimes I don't know what I'm doing, right? So what I've done is I have lined up my center vertical line. I am going to start at B. Put my foot down. I'm gonna go ahead and bring my bobbin thread up. There we go. Get it back into place, and I'm going to make a complete rotation. I'm going to go across from B to B1, and I am going to snip away this thread because this is just a practice piece. I don't need to bury it. I'm going to turn it so you can see better what I'm doing. I'm now going to stitch from B1 to A1 and over to A, and I'm gonna go around this weird little shape right here, okay? That brings me back to B. Now what I'm going to do is I am going to turn this again, okay? So we've got 1, 2, and we wanna get this over. I'm doing this on a 16-point rotation, and I just need to take 1 extra little stitch there. Now what I'm going to do is make another complete rotation, and I went in the wrong direction, but it's okay, because what will happen is I will just have a double line towards the center. And there's our second little penguin. And now we're gonna stitch over. We want and at B. I'm going to move my template and you'll see that I need to take another stitch. There we go. And I know you guys can do that. I'm going to come over to B, and it does not matter which way you stitch this. You can go from B1 to A1 over to A and then down to B, either way. I could see this done with all these little penguins in a row on a baby's quilt. That would be so cute. Okay, now I'm going to move myself again and again need to take that 1 stitch, and that's all that there is. I'm gonna go up this way this time. So this little design is gonna be smaller, obviously, than the full template, and back over to B, move my template, and you know what? This time it doesn't look like I even need to move it over at all. Oh, no, Jan. In your house? Oh, Sandy, I hope it's something good for dinner. Okay, we're gonna And I'm gonna make one more of these little guys, okay? Really want to show you the border designs that we came up with here. Don't forget on those corners, we want to make those stitches just a little bit smaller. When we're going around corners such as this right here, we also want to slow down because if you don't slow down, what can happen, and I know this from personal experience, you can fall off that cliff and end up having to pick out a lot of stitches. Okay, so let's take a look at how big this little design is. And it's really kind of cute, isn't it? Yeah, if you had little seed beads for the eyes and just do a little embroidery there, you could put on a smile and a wing. And to me, that just looked like a penguin. So here's the drawn out version of the penguin. And here's the stitched out version. So let's take a look at how big this is going to be. And remember, we're going to measure from the tip of the embroid or the tip of the template to the center point. And you know what? It's close enough. I'm going to call it 4 inches. It's really like 4 and a 16th. So when you get the other line of stitching over on this side, you're going to have an 8-inch motif. It will be 8 inches around. Now that still gives you enough time to, put something in the center, enough room, I'm sorry, not enough time, but enough room, and you know what? It could be this. It could be this, what we were doing before, and you could make this just reminds me of a mandala with the same template, just doing it over and over again at smaller increments. Okay, so I'm going to do what Linda suggested, and I'm going to go in the opposite direction because it's going to be easier, okay? So here we go, and we're gonna come over, go up to the top, stop where my green arrow is, come down, stop in the center. I'm going to go ahead and I am going to push this around. Again, this is a 16-point rotation, and I've got 32 reference lines here. So no problem. I'm just going to skip one line. Nancy, okay, Nancy, this is the Circles on Quilts Wreath 20, which is just one of the Circles on Quilts wreaths that we have. If you look at the back, this is a very comprehensive list of our Circles on Quilts wreath templates. Someone has asked me to do a video of the Circles on Quilts Wreath 23. Hopefully you're watching tonight, and I need to apologize because I did not write your name down. But you had questions as to the directions of that particular, template. Anyway, oh, Jan, I'm sorry you have to leave. Oh, Linda, good, good. Ken, make a note of that for me, please. Okay, Linda, what we found out, and I've been working with Stacy on it, is there was a slight error in the cutting of that template. So that's why I have not made the video yet. I'm waiting for the new template to get here. So, what happens, you guys, is when you find something that you don't understand, sometimes it helps us to find a way that we can make things easier. So, watch for it, Linda. Go ahead and throw an email to me, okay, so I don't forget it to you, and we'll make sure that I explain what happened with that template, okay? Yeah, it's a beautiful template. Yep, there that and I got it the same way you got it. I went in that order. Um, Sometimes the order of the letters don't make sense to me, but they made sense to Leonie West when she designed the templates. And she's a much smarter person than I am when it comes to that. So here we go. I'm just kind of doing a couple more. I'm just gonna do a couple of these because I want to show you the, border design that I came up with. Linda, I feel so sorry. I am so sorry that I forgot that it was you. Thank you for letting me know. Okay, so here we go. So you see how you can take and put 3 different designs with one template together, and it's kind of like a mandala. What else I like about this, I really think would be fun, is using our Inktense pencils here. We could do some really fun things with that. So, that's what I've got on that part of the template. Are there any questions as to what I'm doing here? Oh, Quebec, Helene, thank you for joining us. Okay, pardon me? Oh, Ken has pulled us for next week already. Okay, which is good because we don't want to forget. Okay, so what I did was I went here and I just kind of put things in a straight line. You'll see that I tried with a little bit of cross hatching here, and that makes a really nice little border. I turned it up and down too. This border will be beautiful. I love the way that it comes down and around. It almost makes it look like half of it is tucked behind and this half is tucked behind down here. This half is tucked behind up on the top. And it's one of those optical illusion things that you can't do, and it doesn't work, but it does when we stitch it out. So, what I'm going to do is I am going to line up my template, and there it is. I wanna make sure that you see these lines, because 'cause I'm going to be stitching from here to here. Now, it doesn't look like it's straight, but we're going to make it a little more straight. Again, we're going to be using this green arrow to stop, but thank you to Linda, we're gonna go in this direction so that it's easy to stop as we go along. So let me go ahead and get the foot down, line it up, pull my bobbin thread up. Now, I'm sure you all know this. The reason that we pull the bobbin thread up is really twofold. One, we pull it up because we don't want thread nests on the back of our quilt blocks. And the second reason is because when we are making our quilt blocks, 99% of the time we're doing a quilt as you go, and we want the back of the quilt block to look as pretty as the front. Okay, so here I go. A little tiny curve in there, not gonna hurt anything. I'm gonna come up and around, and there's a puppy sitting on my foot. Hopefully, he doesn't decide to help me press my presser foot down, which he usually does. Okay, I'm just going to slide it towards me. Again, lining up those 2 lines there, keeping myself very close to that center line that I drew on, and that center line that I put on there is not ironclad, it's just to help me stay on the straight and narrow? At least try to. Okay, and down. Again, I'm going to slide this over, and you'll see this green arrow is lining up each time. Let me go one more time. And I'm sure you saw what I did there. It was a quick move, but think it's an important one. I'm going to show you what I did and why. Originally, I was holding my hand like this. When I started stitching, I stopped and put my hand down. Now, the reason I did that is because when we have the needle channel, if we are holding this half down and not this half, you can see how that raises up there. And just to make sure we don't accidentally get it caught with the foot, I do like to hold both sides of that needle channel. Okay, over we go. We're gonna come up and around. We're gonna stop at the previous rotation, and we're gonna come back to our center. We'll put a couple more in here. I'm just sliding that template towards me. Now, this is another place where you could easily put some echoing in, and that would look absolutely beautiful. And down to the center. And one more time, let's do that. And making sure we keep those stitches just a little bit smaller, because our sewing machines cannot stitch a curve. They can only stitch a straight stitch, so we have to help it make that curve. And there we go, a white picket fence. Donna, thank you. Yeah, yeah. You're right, Sandy. Definitely looks like a picket fence. I love it. So now what we're go Suzanne, I haven't seen you before. Okay, well, I've seen you before, but I haven't seen you earlier today. Now what I want to show you is how we can go ahead and make this double the size. And in order to do that, I am going to turn my template over, and I'm going to go ahead and put my foot back down. And I am going to line this up the same way. Um, no, actually, I'm not. I'll tell you, I want to make it this way. and I'm gonna start over here. I gotta think this through just a little bit. Yeah, I'm gonna start here. So I didn't break my thread, which was advantageous. So I'm just gonna go ahead and tug it back a little bit, making sure I did it with my um, feed dogs open. And now we're going to stitch in the opposite direction. And I'm going to stitch right over that top, that line, and here we go. And we're just gonna come to the arrow and come back in and stop at the bottom. There we go. Again, I'm just going to slide my template over, and there we go. Don't be afraid of making adjustments, guys. This is something that as ruler quilters, you're going to just have to learn. Um, as we stitch, our fabric is being drawn in. So what happens is we need to make those little adjustments so that we can keep our lines nice and straight. Okay, so here we go. Again, I've got that little arrow there, and stitching it in this orientation, we really don't need it, but I like the fact that it's there to remind me to stop. I'm going to slide my template. There we go. That one we didn't need to make any adjustments. That's always a good thing, isn't it? Stop at the previous rotation, and we'll go a couple more, and we will have this border finished. Again, just about a quarter of a stitch I needed to take there. So what's really interesting to me is when we picked this template and I went and got it out, I looked at it and I went, "There's nothing I can do with this other than make that big old 11-inch sunflower-looking design." I think I was wrong because we really have been able to do several things with this template that it really wasn't intended to do. But those of you who know me know that's what I like to do. I like to come up with the unexpected. And here we go. We need one more, and we will be back at the beginning of our upside down picket fence. And I got a little bit off on that one, not gonna worry about it. There we go. Adjusting is good. And there it is. Okay. I think I do have a cutter on this machine. There we go. What do you guys think? I really like it. I think it gives a just it's a different design. It kind of tucks in behind each other. Well, thank you, Debbie, so much. I really appreciate that. Saginaw, another Michigander. Yay, Michigan. Okay, that is what I've got for you guys today. We have done an awful lot with this Circles on Quilts Wreath 20. We've done a lot of things that wasn't intended to do. That's okay. That's what we like to do. If you're ever thinking of making a mandala, you can go ahead and do it just with this template. That's so cool. And of course, don't forget the border designs too, and the spin effects, which is really not meant to do, but it worked really well for us. So before we reveal what template we're going to work on next week, which by the way, I love the unknown. It has been so much fun, and you guys have been so wonderful to me, and I can't thank you enough for that. You know, you have, just really warmed my heart. I love coming here on Tuesdays. I love working with you guys. I love to chat with you guys. I could stay here, for another hour and just talk. Just talk with you guys because I just have fun. I feel like you're my friends. Thank you, Donna. That is so nice. Suzanne, always good to see you. Linda, I appreciate you being here every week. You're just so faithful. Wait a second, Ken said, but wait. He has a template picked for us. He says it's a good one, which means he cheated. He looked. I know you. Are you ready? I wish we had a drum roll. Paisleys. We're gonna do Paisleys. This is one that I have not done before. Becca, I'm looking forward to seeing you on Monday. Thank you, Rebecca. I just oh, not Becca, Sandy, thank you. Um, we're gonna work on Paisleys, so this is gonna be new, and it'll be interesting. Another hour or 2, Sandy? Sure, why not? Linda loves Paisleys. Awesome, awesome. Francie is happy with that. Thank you, Marcia. I really appreciate it. You guys are just so wonderful to me. You just don't know how much it means to me. I, um, I know that I probably get more out of this than you do. But it is fun, and I do appreciate it. Yep. Thank you, Debbie, and will it be DMQ or So Steady? Melanie, it will be So Steady, okay? Yeah, I know we've got 2 sets of Paisleys, and I think we would be doing both of them an injustice if we were to, if we were to try and do both sets in one evening. I would really rather we just do one and save the DMQ for next time. It's in that basket. It is definitely in there, so we will be doing it. Nilda, thank you. It does sound interesting, and I'm gonna be honest with you guys, I've not used the So Steady Paisley yet, so I'm gonna be learning right along with you. Okay, Brahma, hi, it's so nice to see you. Are you coming to Chicago this summer? Thank you, Lois. I appreciate you, definitely do. So, what I've got, for tonight is what we've got. Oh, good, Diane, I'm happy. You can use them now. We can take a look at them together. Appreciate every one of you for being here tonight, and we will see you next week at the same time, same place. So until then, let's quilt.